Energy prices are up across the globe. Oil prices are up. Gas prices are going up. Every $10 increase in a barrel is roughly 24 cents per gallon.
Stop scrolling right now. Governor Gavin Newsom just completely lost it at a press conference, blaming Donald Trump directly for gas prices and completely dodging a massive Supreme Court ruling that just destroyed his education policy. Watch this pivot.
That you'll be paying more because of Trump's war, unfunded war, as he's cutting food stamps because he says he can't find money, as he's cutting taxes to the most well-heeled and well-off. They didn't even ask for those tax cuts, as he's cutting Medicaid programs, and people are struggling with affordability.
Wait, did you catch that intense pivot? He is entirely trying to change the narrative. Instead of addressing the massive legal blow his state just took regarding parental rights, Newsom uses his platform to unleash a rapid-fire attack on Donald Trump's foreign policy and economics. It's a classic misdirection tactic. Notice the sheer anger and speed in his delivery. He's trying to overwhelm the press with completely unrelated national talking points so they don't ask him about his own state's failures. It's wild to see a state governor so hyper-focused on the presidency while his own legislative agenda is literally being dismantled by the highest court in the country right under his nose.
We're getting some breaking news out of the U.S. Supreme Court. Let's get right to CNN's Joan Biskupic. Joan, we're talking about two cases here. Let's start with the first one involving transgender students.
That's right, Jake. And these have just come in, and both were decided by the conservative supermajority prevailing over the dissents of the court's three liberals. The first involves a California education policy that prevents teachers from informing parents about a student's gender expression. If a middle schooler, for example, and there were middle schoolers at issue in this case, want to transition and use different gender pronouns, the school policy there in California was that parents could not be.
Now, here is the absolute bombshell news that Newsom was so desperate to distract everyone from. The Supreme Court stepped in and temporarily blocked California's deeply controversial policy. Think about the gravity of this. The state was literally forcing schools to keep secrets from parents about their own middle schoolers. The fact that this had to go all the way to the highest court in the land just to protect a parent's basic right to know what's happening with their child is mind-blowing. The conservative supermajority completely shut down the state's argument. This isn't just a minor legal tweak. It's a colossal, humiliating defeat for the California legislature's attempt to completely override parental authority.
So just while I've been doing a town hall as part of our Californiable tour up in Glenn County, just heard this news from the Supreme Court. Common sense moving forward on this issue of parental notification. Of course, parents should be told about major things affecting their children. The fact that we're even having this conversation shows you how far gone things have gotten in California with this far left ideology. It's exactly the same about biological boys in girls sports. People just look at all this and think, what is going on? What is going on? Well, what's going on now is that sanity is returning. And when I'm governor, sanity will be fully returned. And all of this far left nonsense will be gone.
Look at the immediate political fallout. Steve Hilton is jumping straight on this victory. You can hear the pure exhaustion in his voice when he talks about how far gone things have gotten. He's explicitly linking this secrecy policy to the broader cultural battle over biological boys and girls sports. By framing this Supreme Court victory as a return to basic sanity, he is directly weaponizing Newsom's policy failures for his own gubernatorial run. This clip perfectly captures the intense frustration brewing among California parents. It proves that this issue isn't just going to fade away in the news cycle. It is going to be the central, burning focal point of the next massive political showdown in the state.
Department of Education says California violated the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Thank you for joining us at 10. I'm Cecil Hannibal. The so-called FERPA Act is a federal law allowing parents to access their child's education records. The Department's Student Privacy Policy Office says the state violated the act when it passed AB 1955. The law bans school policies that force staff to tell parents if their child identifies by a different gender. The office says the law illegally forces districts to withhold information from parents. Now, the office says California can resolve its violations by complying to these orders. Number one, notify all superintendents that gender support plans or other documentation related to a student are considered education records. Number two, publicize that there is no unofficial records exemptions to FERPA and violations can end in a loss of federal money. Number three, they say this state in writing that the state will allow law enforcement to enforce FERPA regarding gender identity. The state must also add FERPA training for teachers and other certified employees. We reached out to the state superintendent of public instruction, Tony Thurman. We have not heard back yet, but his office did address these concerns back in April when the administration initially opened the investigation into AB 1955. The letter stated that the law does not prohibit sharing information with parents. It only prohibits policies that require.
This is the granular, undeniable legal receipt. The Department of Education literally caught California violating the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. They are breaking federal law by illegally forcing districts to withhold educational records from parents. And notice the ultimate threat here, the potential loss of federal funding. That is the only language massive state bureaucracies actually understand. They got too arrogant, tried to quietly cut parents entirely out of the equation, and now the federal government is stepping in to threaten their wallet. It completely unravels the "we're just protecting the kids" narrative and exposes it as an illegal, state-sanctioned overreach. The system just got a massive reality check. The Supreme Court just handed power back to the parents. Drop your raw thoughts on this ruling in the comments, hit subscribe so you never miss a legal breakdown, and I'll see you in the next one.